Yes, what's going on, Capital Extra? Your boy Robert Bruce in the building. Homegrown, Saturdays 4 till 7 p.m. The best in the UK. Your favourite artist out as well. And in front of me, I've got someone who is already, we're going to put it out there, already a legend. But we're still in the journey. We're still in the story. The back catalogue is mad. And I'm so excited for the new stuff as well. In the building right now, Wretch 32, everybody.
Yowza!
Mr. Wretch, how are you doing, man?
What's happening? I'm feeling good, man. I'm in good spirits. We was having a nice conversation about how lovely the building's looking as well, inspiring me with a bit of architecture there. Yeah.
You've been in the building before, doing it?
Yeah, I have.
many times.
But just like today, it feels very bright, very nice. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe something in the air then.
Yeah, possibly.
I caught your interview with Yinka at Southwest 4 not too long ago.
Yeah.
And we were sort of like toying with the idea. What's happening next? Is it music? What's going to be going on? And now tunes have dropped, man. What has the past, let's say, year or so been like for you? What's been happening?
Do you know what? Finishing everything. Like, just set myself a load of challenges. And I think I'm at a point where I've really decided to push myself. Like, I'm someone that's like never happy, always happy, but never completely happy with results. As in, I'm always seeing something that I can better, which that's something I like about myself, always trying to better myself. So I think just setting challenges, finishing the album, getting it mixed, mastered, obviously the book, which will be out in November also as well. Just so much, man. But just enjoying everything as I go as well.
As the time goes as well.
Yeah.
When I was like reading back and listening to old music and just getting ready to have this conversation with you, the word longevity came out, yeah. And I felt that was good. But then I didn't feel it was good enough because there needs to be a quality aspect to that. Because there's been longevity, but the quality's always been there as well. So I couldn't find a word to bridge those two together.
Yeah.
But how do you manage that in all that you're doing?
Caring.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think caring, man. I think first and foremost, you have to care. And this has to be something that you're doing. If you're doing this, you're living it as well. It has to be your life. And as selfish as it sounds, it has to be at the forefront of what you're doing, because I believe that the good musicians have been put here to leave a message or leave something. You know, and for me, I just care, man. I care. It has to be good. It has to always be better. And people have to like it. And I understand that people might not always understand it, but they have to like it. That means the quality is always important to me. So, yeah. That's what kind of keeps you here for a certain amount of time, I think.
Okay, cool. I was thinking as well, I like to talk to people about a little bit about the backstory. And I've interviewed a number of artists that you're their influence, you're their go-to. So who was yours in the UK when you first came out?
Mine, you know what? I used to really like Swiss, really like Soul to Soul, Nina Cherry, Sade. Like, my thing comes from everywhere. Like, show that I'm a glamour kid. Like, it's not just rap. Like, I just liked people that made good music. And that's what I enjoyed. So it comes from different places. But of course, like, people enter the game before me, like the Dizzy Rascals, the Kanos, So Solid, Miss Dynamite. All of these influences have a strong influence on me. Yeah.
So Dizzy and Kano were just before you.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about movement times then. The movement. How do you guys all link up? How do you know everyone?
I think with that, it's just, at that moment in time, all of us were firing from different directions, and I think it was common knowledge that this guy's going in, that one's going in, this one's killing it, Debs is killing it. Like, what happens if they come together? Are we the Avengers? And I think we were the Avengers before the Avengers, if that makes any sense. And I think it definitely kept everyone on their toes at that moment in time. It definitely encouraged us to progress. It definitely helped all of us in many different ways. And man, it's something that everyone in the clique can be proud of. Yeah.
And it's cool to see that a lot of you are all still firing right now. Still going. And Gets dropped his album recently.
Yeah. G dropped his album. G don't stop, man. G don't stop. Literally with him, the other day, he's playing me about 4 songs. I can't even get out of the car.
real.
Like, that's just how we are when we see each other. Like, hey, come, you ain't heard this. I'm playing him 4 tunes. He's like, nah, play me the album. I'm like, nah, I want you to wait. Like, yeah, that's how we are.
So at what point did you know music was full-time for you? When did it become like, this is actually my career? I'm not just going to radio sets. I'm not just freestyling on camera.
I think when, like, obviously the early days recording, paying to record, then I remember pressing up my first mixtape, which came out in 2006. And I remember going to pick up 1,000 CDs in 10 boxes.
For real.
Like, it was in 10 boxes. And then you get there and we're like, whoa, this is going to take up the whole car and we need a cab. And we get it back. And now I'm like, this is the point where you have to sell your music, because it's cost you a lot to record. You're doing videos. It's cost you a lot to press up this amount of CDs. Now it has to make sense. And my son was born the same day the CDs arrived.
No way.
So that's really when life kicked in as well. Like, for me, my second stage of life, shall I say. And it was like leaving the hospital to go and pick up the CDs, then coming back to the baby and the CDs, sitting in the house, like, what are you going to do now? Now you need a plan, because you're all right if you don't eat and you just go and record for 10 hours, but he's not. He needs to eat every day regardless. He needs this, he needs things, everything needs to be secured. And I think that was the turning point where I'm like, music is going to be sold. And I just went and started selling my CDs.
What?
Literally. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I always had, you know, like them times there you probably got like 200 numbers in your phone book. Everyone is buying a CD. First and foremost, there's no giveaway here. Like, you know how when I told my mum, like, yeah, the CDs have come, she said, yeah, come round, man, I'm going to buy one. I said, I don't be silly. I went round to give her one. And she giving me money. And I'm saying, Mum, you're like, what's going on? Are you all right? It's cool. You can have it. She's like, no. Like, if I didn't know you, I like your music, I would buy it. And I thought, you know what? My mum gave me a $5. Everyone is giving me a $5. There's no oblige. Like, you have to pay. Yeah. So from then, it was sold.
So that one's not going into shops at that time?
It was, but the problem was, at that point, was the shop. You're carrying a CD to I remember me and my manager went to like Birmingham or somewhere like that. And the shop guy's like, yeah, we've heard of you, but not too much people have asked, so just leave us 5 and then we'll be sale and return. I said, do you think I'm coming back for £25, bro? Like, take a whole box of 25 and then we'll work it out some way. Like, so some shops only wanted to take 5. And then what you do, like, we'd even like in Central, we'd put a couple in the shop, they say they want 5. I just 3 of our brethren or 4 of our brethren will go in and buy 2, so it sells out. Then he's got to ring me back. Bro, I'm still in Central, you know. I'll come back and give you some more. Like, as much as I wanted it to sell, I wanted it in the shop. I wanted it available as well. So that was equally important.
So you're literally your own distribution at
Yeah,
that point?
yeah, at that point, yeah.
Oh, things have changed now, bro.
Ah, mate, listen, you think I see a CD? When? When? 1,000. I don't think... I say 1,000 CDs because I don't think anyone knows what 1,000 CDs look like in your house. Like, in the hallway. It takes up the whole hallway. And at that point, you know, my son's mum is looking at me like, these boxes need to go. Like, you need to... How many have you sold today? Like, yeah, I sold 7. You need to be selling 700, mate. Because this hallway needs to come back to the house. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. What was your breakthrough track then, would you say, in that period? So we go from up until first album, which is like 2011.
Yeah, 2011,
What's your breakthrough track?
So,
or does it come on the album?
I feel like it keeps... Like, we have different segments. So on that CD, Learn from my mixtape, Specs, help me out here. What was Punctuation? Wasn't that? No. Punctuation was Teacher's Training Day. So on that one was Can't Say Sorry. Can't Say Sorry was the first record that kind of like blew up in my ends. It was just about me not being too proud and not being able to say sorry to my partner. And so I go to say sorry throughout the whole tune and I never say it. So it was just like quite a thing that was quite catchy in the ends. So that was like the first little one. Then the next one was Punctuation, which came on Teacher's Training Day. That was my next mixtape. And then after that, I think we go to Be Cool. Yeah, Be Cool and Inner the Ghetto. That was
Yeah.
on Retrospective. That was the first album,
Okay, this is about the moments
2009.
when I'm coming in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then they get to sounds,
2009. And then obviously the one which introduced me to the masses was Tractor, which was 2011. So I feel like it went in stages, yeah.
And at that point, do you get to do shows, or shows come after the first album?
Nah, you get to do shows, but not your own show.
Okay.
So like at that point, the dream, I remember me and Zio, my manager, sitting down in one of our houses saying, look, if we can just sell out the Jazz Caf, then we've done a big thing here, man. Like, we went to watch Kalashnikov at the Jazz Caf and we was like, whoa, like blown away, like, bro, it was a proper show, like concert. Like, if we can get to, so then we went to inquire to them and then like, you know, how do you go about selling out this venue? Didn't have an agent at that time. And they're kind of like, well, you pay. Yeah. Like, you pay. Who are you? Well, my name's Wretch. Okay, cool, nice. That's sweet. Yeah, it's very cute. But you pay. And then you work out how your tickets are going to happen. And we're like, how much people do we know that will buy tickets? Like, that's how your mind works.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
How much friends are coming more than fans? Because there wasn't much scope and much gauge of the reach. So you don't know how much fans you have. Do you get what I'm saying? And how to get them into one place. It's not an Instagram time. It's not a Twitter time. So yeah,
not
you
even
do
Twitter those times. What is it? MySpace.
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 Yeah. So you do any show, like, because I had different types of material, like a lot of conscious stuff and different and songs like Can't Say Sorry, which can be performed to anyone. I was performing in pubs. I was performing in open mics. I was performing at like live band events, anywhere where guitarist, just play any riff at this speed. I'm gonna come out and rap with you, and just anywhere. So I kind of built up a different fan base doing that as well. So that was quite different. But there wasn't any headline shows like
Up
for
until
me
that
at that point. Yeah.
Okay, cool. 2011 comes, first album drops.
Yeah.
I think like 3 top 10s or something like that.
We
that
had 3 top 5s.
3 top 5s?
Yeah, 3 top 5s. The first one winning at 5, which was Tractor. Second one winning at number 2, which was Unorthodox. And then the third one winning at number 1, yeah.
And what's charting like at that time? Because now, obviously, like we see it a lot more. Because I even had a look at the charts when these singles were going in. I think one time, Party Rockers was like, do you remember that Party Rockers?
That's what beat us to number 1.
Yeah, that beat us to number 1.
I will never forget that tune. I was so...
You never forget it, innit?
Do you know what song that is? Party Rockers in the house. We're number... Like them times there's Sunday to Sunday. So we're number 1, like up to like Wednesday. Hanging on.
Yeah.
And this tune is coming, and every day the label's like, they're gonna catch us by Thursday. Like, they really know, they understand the science of it. And I'm like, nah, there's no way that tune can beat us, man. Not over here. The tune beat us, bro. They moved us off to number 2.
Yeah.
And then, but if I'm honest, like, I never ever thought that I'd have like a number 1 record. I always thought that people would digest my albums and listen to them like that. So that wasn't really the plan for me. So when Tractor went to number 5, we was just in no man's land. It was just like, I don't even know what to do next now, because I didn't even expect this. So like, let's go again. And then we went again and we got the 1.
That's crazy. And what comes with that? Does it much change with that?
I think everything changed but me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everything. As in, we were stepping into different buildings, man. Like, stepping onto different stages. Like, Glastonbury's calling now. And it's like, at that point, Glastonbury's something I've only heard of, like, not been there. Whereas obviously now you can name a list of people that have done it. At that point, it was probably like Dizzy Rascal. Didn't really know what to expect. So it was like trying to understand how to attack festivals. And I was just like going online, looking at like how do they perform there? What do they use? And I was just like, I want a band. Like, I want the music to really feel like a souped up version of the album. So literally, yeah, found a band, put that together, then started doing festivals. It was like every day we were stepping into a new arena that we may have been one of the first to step into. So we never really knew what to expect. And it sounds weird, but never really knew how to act. Like, I always felt like walking into certain rooms, like being the only black artist most of the time. And it's like, okay, I don't know anyone. Everyone else knows everyone. And it's like, do I just move how I normally am, like in the ends, or Do I try and get to know everyone? Like,
Yeah.
it was quite a confusing time, if
But
I'm
you're
honest.
not too know because you've never been there before. sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, you haven't. And
Yeah.
it's
How do
like,
you figure that out then?
I don't know, because when you come in, you're the new guy and rap's cool, innit? So it's like everyone kind of comes to you like, oh, what's going on? Da, 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 da. Like, I'm in a room and Chris Martin from Coldplay's walking past and spinning back like, oh, Wretch, your album, I've been playing this on repeat. And I'm like,
Whoa.
you're like, Chris Martin, like, I don't even, but it just made me realise that the rappers are cool, like, in any building. So I was just always just myself in the end, you know what I mean? But at first, wasn't even nerve-wracking, you just didn't know what to expect.
Okay. In the early days, is there anything you would have done differently? Like in terms of, I might have done that differently, I might have done this differently, just through learning and going on and getting more experience.
Do you know what? I think I stuck to my guns, like, all the way. Like all the decisions were mine. And I think sometimes, looking back, like, rest in peace, Richard Antwi. This is someone who, basically, he was the reason that the success of Tractor and that wasn't able to happen, because his record label was the label that we signed to. But it was like, sometimes in key moments, like when we done Jules Holland, he was like, do one hit record and then just do a hard record, like, just rap. But at that moment in time, I'm like, I felt pressure to prove that we were musicians. So what I was doing is I'll do Don't Go, and then I'll pick another musical record off the album. Whereas now, what I like, you'll see someone like Stormzy go on and just do Shut Up
Straight,
or
yeah.
anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Do you get what I mean? But at the time, I was like, nah, because I'm in here competing with these people and they can all play instruments, so I'm going with my band and I want it to feel and sound musical. And I remember one time Richard Antwi was like, listen, on Jules Holland, I had a song called Mafia Time and I was just rapping. And he was just like, perform that. And I remember looking at him like, this guy is a madman. Like, that's such a big opportunity. I want to show the world I'm a musician. But then now I look back at it and I'm like, that moment there, you could have just done a different type of rap tune, like something that no one would have expected. But at that time, I didn't even think like that was possible. I just wanted to show my musical side anytime I was reaching a different audience.
But even in saying that though, you doing that probably allows Stormzy to go in and do
Of course. And I wouldn't even say it's a mistake. It's just something that I'd look back on and be like, I get why he said it.
Yeah.
But on the day, I didn't. Like, on the day, I remember me and Zion were looking at each other like, this guy's saying perform that there. No one's going to understand that. They're not going to understand that at all. Like, let's give music, like, let's play chords, let's do a new arrangement, let's add strings. Like, we really went in, like, in that front, but we could have done it a different way, to be fair.
Because you mentioned Richard, we're going to talk about Growing Over Life as well. But in that off period, between like 2011 and the album dropping then, what was you doing mainly in that time? Because you just come from all of this huge successes.
Yeah. But the thing is, when something gets so big, it stays and you introduce you to other things, like going, like the TV world, go and sit down and do this, and touring and all of that, and learning all that, and then now go into schools and talk, because they need to hear from you. Do you get what I'm saying? So we just started doing so much different things. I was working on new music. And then it just got to a point with the label I was at the time that they kind of wanted a duplicate of what Black and White done, which is 3 top 5s. But for me, that was never really the ultimate plan. It was just something that just happened. And then it was like, look, if we can do this again, then it goes hand in hand and we just mirror the success. And at that point, I just had more to say and I just couldn't fit it into big choruses. I just needed more verse than chorus. So it was a bit of a weird time, but we just had to find a way to get that album out, because Growing Over Life I needed to do that for me, like regardless of anyone else, because so much was going on I needed to speak on, and as an artist I had to, and I didn't want to mirror what I'd done before. So we just had to work out how we could get to a point where we could release that, and we did. So that's why there was like quite a gap between that. Yeah.
And that's interesting you say that though, because with Growing Over Life, the word that I get from it is emotion. It felt like there was a lot of emotion, even into the opening track. How do you find putting your emotions into music and the writing process? Is it like refreshing for you, or does it bring more pressure in a sense being vulnerable?
Nah, it's therapeutic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, defo, man, because like if it comes out of my mouth on record, it's affected me inside and it's something I've been holding on to. And once it comes out, I'm normally cured of or the weights off my shoulders once it's released. So growing over life, there was so much frustration, so much. Like you have to understand that Growing Over Life is my third album that's been released. But in terms of recording, after Black and White, I had 2 albums before I got to Growing Over Life.
Okay.
Which were in a similar vein, but we weren't able to get those records out. So I was so frustrated, angry, emotions, people are dying. There's so much different things going on. My kids are getting big. Like, I want to be in a better position now as well. I want to keep moving forward, and I just feel like I've been contained. So Growing Over Life was just like, you know, like when you take the muzzle off the dog and he can just bark and he can bite and he can just go. So that was that.
And it was received well as well.
Yeah.
100%. You got open conversations on there as well. Mm-hmm. Really important topic to be talking on, even in terms of, it's a song like it would live forever sort of thing until certain stuff starts to change and stuff. What I wanted to ask you was, what is it like being born into an environment where the odds are stacked against you? Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand that and they just see the product of music and it's like, oh, music's bad. But what's it like being born into that environment?
The sad thing is that crazy things become normality. And you only realise that when you speak to people that are from a different environment. And it's like, oh, how was your weekend? Oh, it was cool. House got raided. Uncle's in prison. This happened to that person. That happened to that person. And there's so much. And it's like, they're looking at you like, how are you like not falling to pieces? And it's just like, but to you, like the fish never sees a problem with the water. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the fish never, ever, ever sees a problem with the water. We may look at the water and think, how the hell do they go so deep? Because we don't live in that environment. But if we did live in there, it'd be normal to us as well. So it just forces you to adapt to things that are probably more traumatic than you actually think they are. You know what I mean? And then naturally with trauma comes stress, comes anger, comes frustration. And you have to find the best and purest way to release that tension. You have to find a release. And luckily for me, my release is through music. Unfortunate for a lot of other young teenagers, maybe they can't rap. Maybe they don't want to write music and they have no way to get that frustration out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it ends up going into other areas, which none of us want things to be going down. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's just finding a way to vent, and I'm thankful every day that it was music for me.
Okay, cool. We're going to talk about Young Fire, Old Flames.
Yeah.
But let's get to the other album, the next one now, FR32. Mm-hmm. With this one, I had a word of, I'm always just getting one word. It was like family and different perspectives on different stuff, but it seems like quite family orientated. Like when I think of His and Hers and then even Thug's Prayer.
Yeah.
What's the importance of family in your life and your music and in the tape?
Keeps me centered, man. It keeps me centered, keeps me grounded, keeps me who I am. And I'm like a strong member of my family. You know what I mean? So I have to be like I have to be grounded, and I have to be like that, because I can start acting a certain way and it can influence the younger ones, you know what I mean? That or my relatives or siblings or whatnot. So but with the thing is with the 3-2 album is that I psyched myself up for half my life to make that record.
Okay.
That album will always be significant and special to me, because I was like, 3-2 are my numbers, and I was like, the year you turn 32, you have to make an album called 3-2, and that better be your best body of work. Like in my head when I was like 16, I was like, that's gonna be my last album.
Okay.
Like, that is the day I stop, and I start doing other things. I'm at this point now and I'm still in love with music. That's not happening. But so you can understand that if you've been thinking about something since you was 14, 15, 16, 17, that's built up for over 16 years. So when I finally got to that point to make that record, I just wanted to surpass everything I'd done. And I just wanted it to feel like a perfect representation of who I am and where I am. That's why you get a lot of family orientations, you get a lot of vibes, and you get a lot of lyrics as well.
Yeah, that whole rounded thing. Vibes as well. You're back in the clubs.
Yeah.
Whistle and Tell Me, linking up with Kojo. That's why I wanted to hold Young Fire Old Flame, because now you've come back around again. You're interacting with the newer artists that are coming through.
Yeah.
You've been here for a long time. People have come and gone. You're still here. And you're now interacting with the newer artists. What do you look for in new talent?
I look for artists that love music. One of the worst things that I feel like I can do is make a song with someone and they quit making music. I hate when that happens. I feel like I gave and invested a special moment with someone who it no longer has any value. Like, I need an artist to have the same passion as me and really believe in his craft, really want to be the best. And they're the things that I look for, like passion, love, care, execution, and technique as well, yeah.
So you linked up with Avelino. I hear like you just messaged him out of the blue. You heard him, you just messaged him and got him in. Was it that about him that you liked?
The thing with Av, what's so interesting is, like, people had given me his CDs from before, and just in the busyness of life, maybe I hadn't got round to listening. And then I'm on YouTube one day and I see a guy called Hunt from my area. He's got a song with Avelino, and I click it and I think, I know that kid. I know his face. Avelino lives like less than 4 minutes from my mum's house.
No way.
He's just a lot younger than me. So we grew up in the same place. And I'm like, I know this kid. I see him all the time. And I'm just listening to his tone and listening to what he's saying. And I'm like, let me just see what this kid's about. So I message him, like, yeah, let's link up. Let's just have a chat, see what we're talking about. And when I meet up with him, I can just see that in his eyes, yeah, he's got a thing where he's like, I respect you so much, but one day I'm going to be you and I'm going to be better than you. And to see that in someone's eyes, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's go studio. And he wants to go bar for bar. He wants to go word for word. If my verse is 10-10, he wants to go 11-10 every single time. And it's not often you see a younger version of yourself in front of you, and it's like, it's almost like I'm talking to the younger me and just giving all the gems before he gets to a certain age. So he's got all them gems before I had them. And it's so like refreshing to see someone that cares about their music, cares about being the best, is integral. And it's just something that I got into music to do, to work with people that are that passionate as well.
So Young Fire Old Flame 2, is it possible? Can it happen? Is it done?
Put it this way, man. That kid there, I love being on my toes, and he puts me on my toes, man. So anything can happen, I suppose. Okay, when there's competition involved, innit?
Very true, very true. Yeah. And even with the tunes in the club, say like the Tell Me's and that, the fan base must just expand again. And crazy, you can go to shows and play that one, and it's like people that have just come into music, they're just going out, and they're right in there, and they don't even know all the backstory that we've just spoken about.
It's so weird how music switches. Like, now, a common thing for me when someone comes up to me like, yeah, man, proper like listen to you, man. I'm like, yeah, man, what songs you listen to? And some people will be like, yeah, Tell Me, or some people will be like Punctuation, and depending on what song you say, I know where your entry is. But it's so interesting to see that to some people, Tell Me is possibly my first record. Just like to some people, Tractor was my first record.
Yeah, or Don't Go sort of.
Yeah, or Don't Go was my first song. And then it's interesting, you see people that kind of just like the singles, because when they see you, they'll be like, oh, you ain't put no stuff out since you done Don't Go on that. And I'm like, nah, I have still. I put quite a few albums out after that, but I understand you and I understand what you like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Before, maybe I was at a point where I might be frustrated. Like, how come they don't know? I've put out da-da-da-da-da. But you have to accept that some people, they just like one song from a person because it's the song to like.
Yeah.
And other people, they like 100 songs that nobody's heard from a certain artist just because they really like the artist. So it's just finding the balance and accepting that there's always going to be new people and there's always going to be old people. People that used to like, back in the day, my people used to go hard on Twitter when people used to come and say, yeah, Tractor, da-da-da-da. They're like, yeah, but you don't know Wretch since Punctuation and you don't know, you haven't heard it. And I'm like, look, you got to let people, everybody has to be introduced to someone at some point. You know what I mean?
It's very true. We were talking in the office before you came in, yeah? We were saying, has Wretch acted? Have you acted in anything?
Before music.
Before music?
Yeah, before music, like low budget, small films, just helping mates out. And mates doing a film, he's like, just play this character for me. It's like, all right, cool. Like, my heart was kind of in it, but I wasn't in love with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's not since I've been me anyway. No, no.
Are you up to date with Top Boy? Have you managed to catch
Finished.
it?
What do you
Finished
mean?
it straight
Yeah,
away?
of course. How can I come out and I watch one and what? And then what? Go to bed? Yeah. You're having a laugh. Listen, I had to snake everyone. I watched that by myself.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was sensational. I thought it was amazing. I love how much different topics. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I love how much different topics are touched. And more than anything, I'll tell you what I really like. They show reasoning. A lot of times we have this narrative, and you know, a film is a film. It is what it is, isn't it? Like we like to be entertained and we get entertained. But sometimes I feel like there isn't a lot of reasoning as to why. Why is an individual doing this, or why is an individual acting like this? And what I get from Top Boy, I understand why each character is where they are. And I think that's so important. Because if you're looking at it, if you're watching it properly, it gives you a better understanding of what we grew up in. If you're watching it with that eye where it's like, oh, why do we always have to do a film about this and that? You're going to only see this and that, and you're not going to see the layers. But if you watch it properly, you can see the layers and understand the reasoning. And it should open conversations as to what can we do to help individuals that are in certain situations from a certain demographic and living in a certain place. How can we assist them so that they stay on the right side of the road and not the left side? Yeah.
I asked Ashley when he came, we was actually speaking about that, the fact of when you go through season 1 to 3, you can see cycles. So it's like, how do we step and intervene? And even asking you the question about what's it like being born into an environment where it's stacked against you. I think it's a bit that people don't sort of see, which they do need to see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it will give more insight into how we can help.
1,000%, man. Because it's easy to stand. It's easy to stand and throw stones. It's easy. It's easy to throw stones. It's easy. It's easier to throw a stone than it is to go and stand next to the people that the stones are being thrown at and ask them, what can we do to put a shield up?
100%.
Yeah.
Hopefully programs like Top Boy will shine a light, man.
Yeah.
Facts. 2019, back out again. Why did you decide to come with this track first, Mummy's Boy?
Do you know what? It was such a debate with the team, man. Like, because there's so many. When you've got an album and you've made so much different styles of records, yeah, you kind of only want to show possibly 3 before the album comes out, but you want to show 3 different sides of the album to bring everyone in, and it's like, how do you do that with just 3 songs? And it's like, for me, Mummy's Boy is like, it feels like a record that Wretch will make. It's one of them records that Wretch does really well, and I don't think there's a lot of other people that can do that. So for me, that's like, if I have a special power, it's being able to do Mummy's Boy and execute that really well. So for me, I was like, we should start here for that reason. And that's why we decided to do that.
Visuals powerful as well.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the concept and the idea, or was it all led from the song?
It's random because it almost visually goes against what the song says. But when we was getting the treatments back, I was getting a lot of, you know, go take your mum bowling or go bring your mum flowers and celebrate your mum day. And it started to feel a bit obvious. So I was like, well, the song is saying that, but we need to make the visual a lot more, I don't know, like a lot more a lot more heartwarming. It's got to pull at your heartstring, and it kind of, for me, I want people to watch it and be like, whoa, that's a position that I'm possibly going to be in at some point in life, but I'm not there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the most time, and I'm going to honor, and I'm going to love, and I'm going to protect, and I'm going to look after this person before it gets to that. That's kind of what I wanted people to take from it, rather than a video where I take my mum bowling, buy her a car, screw, like all of this type of stuff. I didn't want that visual.
It's real life as well, man.
Yeah.
So the album, what are you saying then? What vibe are we gonna get? What are you coming back with? When, if you can say when?
Well, the album is finished, and I'm happy with it. I think people are gonna be happy with it. It's definitely a very mature Wretch, but I still made sure that we kept the vibes as well, because I didn't want to tip it too far over, because I feel like something like Growing Over Life like was a proper stress relief, and I needed that, and it needed to feel like that and sound like that. Whereas the other records, I'm not in that frustrated zone anymore, so I've got to show more sides to me. So you get the vibes, you get some younger vibes, you get some grown vibes, and people will just enjoy it.
And Spin Around, you've given us a nice one to go into
the
autumn.
That's my vibe. That's my vibe, yeah.
Is that one that you're proper feeling now? Like, is that cruising around in the car late night, or do you want it in the clubs there, live in the middle of the set?
I don't think it's like the ultimate club banger, but I think like it's in there and around the ones. Like it's one of the ones you use to get to the one.
Okay.
But nevertheless, it's just a good chilled vibe, man. I like that, man. I
Definitely
like it.
feels good.
Yeah,
feels
you
good
don't
on
have
the
to
radio.
overthink. You know what I mean? You can just enjoy it.
All right, then, cool. Thank you very much for coming in. We're looking forward to the album big time.
Thanks, bro.
When it drops, please come back, fam.
We'll be back, man.
Wicked.
Enough love.
Wretch 3-2, everyone.
Yeah.